The city of Leander is closing its public library on Saturday for a private event.
A local church will host Drag Queen Storytime this Saturday after the city canceled it last month. KXAN's Will Dupree joins us live outside the library now to explain. Will?
Well, Aaron and Robert, the city tells us it's closing down the library here on Saturday because it's expecting demonstrations related to that drag queen story time. Police, though, will be on hand to monitor everything out here, and there will be designated areas out here in the parking lots for any protesters, as well as those countering what they have to say. A trip to the Leander Public Library happens at least once a week for Anna Smith and her family. This week, their visit will come Saturday. They're going to Drag Queen Storytime, which they've been to before when they lived in San Francisco.
My daughter and I are going to be dressed up, and she's actually curious to see what books we're going to read. She's hoping they read one of her favorite books.
Leander's Open Cathedral Church rented a conference room for the event last month after the city canceled its own planned story time with the drag queen. Libraries across the country have held similar events to promote literacy and tolerance.
I'm excited that Leander is having this event. Like, this is something I would never imagine happen here.
Except Melissa Glatt plans to skip it.
I just think this particular topic is a bit extreme.
She does not think it's appropriate for her own children.
I just don't want to put issues in front of them that I don't think they're mature enough to handle.
Police set up a surveillance stand with a remote camera to watch what might unfold Saturday. Smith talked to her own children about the possibility of seeing protesters, but even that won't change their plans.
We're here to read a story, to listen to a story, and connect with people in our community who believe what we believe in.
Now, it's important to remember that tickets are required for this event. However, they're all sold out. Also, people only with children will be allowed inside the event in the library back here. Now, we did ask the church today which drag queen will be reading to the kids on Saturday, but we never heard back. The pastor previously told us, though, that that person would have to go through a background check first. Reporting live, Will Dupree, KXAN News.
And you might recall the Houston Public Library System was sued over its drag queen story time. A judge dismissed that lawsuit in January. And earlier this year, the Houston Public Library apologized for allowing a child sex offender to participate in Drag Queen Story Hour.
And now, after a Texas city shut down a children's story time hosted by drag queens at a public library, well, a radical church stepped in to save it. But why? Where else is this happening? An opponent and a Christian supporter will debate the drag story time. Now, your local library is a wonderful resource for school-age kids, their reading groups, mommy and me classes, arts and crafts programs, and now, drag queen story time.
The transition from nightclub to libraries has been absolutely overwhelming and astounding. There may be a child in the audience that is feeling a little different, and now he may see me or she may see me and say, wow, hey, I feel a little different too, and here's someone who's comfortable feeling different and is okay with it.
When Leander, Texas, a city of 56,000, decided to put an end to this, citing upset citizens, a left-wing church known as Open Cathedral stepped in to host the event this weekend. So what happens there? Well, joining me now to debate is Arthur Schopper, director of Mass Resistance, and Jonathan Merritt, a progressive Christian writer and author of the book Learning to Speak to God from Scratch. All right, Arthur, what's your group's main objection to these drag queen story hours that are popping up all across the country?
All right. Well, thank you again, Laura, for having me on the show. My name is Arthur Schopper. I'm the organization director for Mass Resistance. We are the international pro-family group that makes the difference. We have had parents contacting us all over the country about these perverse programs. I mean, the bottom line is this. You have adult homosexual men, adult entertainers going into a public library reading to children. I mean, that alone should not only be sending off alarms, but people should be, demanding this to be canceled even before it starts. Okay, we're not talking about diversity here. We're talking about deviance. We're talking about perverse and destructive lifestyles being animated or advertised to children as if it's normal. I mean, you can just look at the website
Arthur,
itself.
Are you saying that gay people can't read to kids ever? I mean, we're talking about a very specific issue with drag queens, right? That's what we're talking about here. But so try to keep it focused on that.
We're talking about drag entertainment here. Drag entertainment, this is adult illicit entertainment, to put it mildly. And we're having these entertainers reading to children? Why stop there? Why not have pole dancer story hour? How about having porn actor story hour? I mean, this is just nonsensical.
Jonathan, my question to you is...
This is what you want children being experiencing?
Yeah. All right, Jonathan, this is how this whole thing started. I want to go to you here because you support these events. This is how the Washington Post described what's happening in this particular controversy. The organization Drag Queen Story Hour started in late 2015 in San Francisco, just as the country's reinvigorated right wing was coming into form. But it has found many fans, with chapters in areas outside traditional liberal cities, outposts now in Milwaukee, New Orleans, Charlotte, Mobile, Alabama, and San Marcos, Texas. So this all began in San Francisco. This isn't some organic, just a local person who decides, I want to help the kids, right? This is, to a lot of people, organized as an attempt to advance a particular agenda or viewpoint or understanding, and beginning itself in San Francisco.
Yeah, to me, where it began is really irrelevant. I think the question is what's happening in these events now. And I think you have a lot of people who are upset about it. They're upset about it because, and your guest, I think, articulated that perfectly, that they're disgusted by certain people in society, by the LGBT community, by drag queens, who, by the way, are not always a part of the LGBT community. And they feel that their children will be contaminated if they come into contact with these people. I think that's not a mainstream view. I don't even think many conservatives, agree with that anymore. I think that really is the point.
Like, I get it. I get what you're saying. But what is the point here? What is really the point? All right? Because there are a lot of people who are different, right? There are people that you probably wouldn't want to come in to do story time. I'm not trying to compare them, but
you're having children being taught drag 101.
Hold on, Arthur. Wait a second. They're drug addicts.
This is ridiculous. Lots of people are opposed to this.
I'm talking to Jonathan. Jonathan, not everybody you would welcome into the library.
See if he could defend that.
Traditionally.
Yeah. Well, if you read these stories, if you read the stories that are coming out about these events, and you listen to the individuals who are actually reading the stories who speak for themselves, they're saying, we were looking for a way to give back to the community. We are entertainers. We dance. We sing. We make merriment in various establishments, but we were looking for a way to give back, and they wanted to pour into the children of their community. These events are voluntary. Nobody's children are being forced to go and sit in front of a drag queen and listen to a storybook. They're going there because they want to give back to their community, and I think in the United States of America, anyone should be able to do that.
Absolutely. There's a lot of ways to give back to the community. Arthur, close it out quickly.
There are normal ways to do this. We're not talking about knitting. We're not talking about a Bible class. We're talking about degenerate, perverse entertainment. And not only that, not one but two sex offenders were exposed at one drag queen story hour in Houston, Texas. That's what our organization revealed. Mass Resistance. I'm with the California chapter.
Okay, don't hold up props. Here's one thing I don't like on the show.
Here's a book that people should be reading to understand at length what's going on with this whole agenda.
This is not a segment to promote one particular group. We're trying to find out what's really going on here. People have legitimate concerns on both sides of this issue. What is the point of doing this with kids? Is there a point? That's what we're trying to find out tonight. We wanted to have a really good conversation. We appreciate it.